Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here with my friend, Mary Corrales, Vice President at SilverDoor. Mary, how you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for having me on, Ben. This is going to be fun.
I am really excited about this. I've been following you on the various social media platforms in the last probably year and a half. And, I'll be honest with you, I love the way that you share about yourself. It's
Thank
been
you.
really nice.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, you
we're
got to
gonna,
share just enough, right? Yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, it gets us thinking about things that are sometimes more important than just relocation and corporate housing. I mean, that's kind of what we did with the show here, Love and Relos, because there's such a human side to this business, and I argue maybe it might be the best side.
I think it's the best side for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, everybody, get in the comments, y'all. We're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff here. Let us know who you are, where you are. Check in with us if you've got questions, comments. If you want to give Mary some love, get in the comments there and let us know where you're at. Uh, Mary, where in the world are you right now?
I'm in outside of Phoenix, Arizona. We live in South Scottsdale area, and it is really humid here. So we've hit monsoon season here in Arizona. So it goes from just being hot and dry to being like disgusting and humid, and it's just yeah, who knows how long it's going to last? And it rains every night. It's fun.
I was stuck in Arizona, in Scottsdale. Shout out, I see you there, Billy. I see you there, Bev, Sandy, Quigley, Christian, Turned. And get in the comments, y'all. Check in with us. Great people here. Billy says, let's go, Mary. Farrell Elliott checking in. Good to see you both. Sandy. I was in Scottsdale, and Daisy and I got stuck in a haboob.
A
What is it?
haboob. Yep.
A haboob? Yeah, that's
A
a real word,
haboob.
right? Yeah, it
It's a
was the
real word.
wildest
It's a
thing I ever
giant
seen.
wall of dust that like rolls in and the sky turns black. It's like Independence Day, like in the movie, and all of a sudden it
Yeah,
just and then
I
it
thought there was
sometimes
going to
it
be
rains.
aliens behind the wall.
Sometimes, yeah. That's not you don't want to stand out in that or breathe that in. That's like, yeah, valley fever, like asking for it at that point.
What
Yeah.
is valley fever?
Valley fever is like something it goes into your lungs and it's something that you get from dust and so like it's an issue here as well as for dogs too. Sometimes they'll be like in the dirt and they'll get valley fever from there. So I have like a group of friends that used to all work together at Prudential and every year we get together and we do a little staycation at somewhere like in Scottsdale because everything here is pretty cheap during the summer so you can get like 5-star hotels for like nothing here during the summer and a haboob was happening. This was like last week, I think. And there were people sitting outside eating dinner. And we were like, should we tell them? Like, is this something we should go tell them about? Or should we like get them inside? And so somebody went outside. Shout out to Candy. Candy went outside and was like, hey, you guys want to come inside? Like, you don't want to take Valley Fever home with you. And they were like, what are you talking about? And they literally came inside just as it hit.
As
And
it was
it was,
blowing
oh,
through. Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing. I mean, we get nothing. It's just sunny all the time. So we get excited when stuff like this happens.
Get in the comments if you want to talk about haboobs, if you want to talk about valley fever. I'm going to be at Arizona next week for the ARA meeting. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be my
Yay!
first ARA meeting.
Oh,
Farrell
we're
checking
excited
in
to see
here.
you.
Farrell says, what to expect from Arizona weather next week for ARA? No fevers or haboobs. I don't know.
You
Mary,
don't
what
know?
do we expect next week?
It could be. It could be every afternoon. Is it going to rain? Is it not going to rain? Is there going to be a dust storm? Is there not? So you guys could be in for some fun. And we're having Christmas in July here for Arizona Relocation Alliance on next Thursday. So it'll be really
As,
fun. It's at the
as soon as
Biltmore.
I thought that, as soon as I heard Christmas in July, I'm thinking ugly sweaters. Tell me I don't have to wear an ugly sweater.
Nope, you can do Hawaiian shirts. You can do Hawaiian shirts if you want to get a little like Hawaiian Christmas vibe in
Okay,
there, or
okay.
you could do anything Christmas related if you want, whatever you want to do. Shorts are great. No, please do not come in a suit here. Like that
Uh-oh.
is not the thing to do in Arizona. Leave your
Uh-oh.
suits at home, please.
I gotta wear shorts. I gotta do some calf raises. I gotta get in shape for these yeah. Get in the comments, y'all. Christian Ternedden throwing a haboob definition in there. Appreciate you. Tracy Denora checking in. Good afternoon. What's up, Tracy? Sarah Vrablik checking in. Best guest.
Oh,
Yeah, no
love you,
offense to the
Sarah.
733 other guests, but yeah, she's pretty dang good. I'll be honest with you, it's a good one. Great to see another SCRC board member on there after Gabriel Castro the other day. Yeah, we're stacking them up.
That's right. You're
Gabe
going.
Brown, Mary's an icon in the industry. Looking forward to the conversation. I'm looking forward to talking about your dad.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to talking about dyslexia in the workplace. I'm looking
Mhm.
at talking about yoga. Like, you got a lot of really cool stuff going on that's really interesting. And I love the fact that you're willing to share it with us. So I want to get in there. If y'all have got questions for Mary, get in the comments here. Okay. Let us know. And then we're just going to get started. But I got to ask you about your dad, Tony. You've been
Yeah.
posting, you've been really open about, Tony and the wisdom chats. I mean, what made you want to share that?
He's such a cool guy. I mean, I know a lot of people really like love their parents and have like a lot of love for their parents. My dad has had like an incredibly interesting life. He's 94 and like
God
still kicking,
bless.
and every day we still have him around. We're like, we're blessed to have him. But he grew up during the Depression in New York City. He built himself out of nothing and got to the point where even in high school he was a NBC page. So he worked at like 30 Rock and
Like
did
30
tours
Rock,
and
yeah.
like 30 Rock and did tours and stuff like that. And then he was in the Korean War, and he was the only person to survive out of his entire group. So I wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened. So he's had so many really cool like miracle kind of things. And then when he came back to the city after, after being in the army, after he was discharged, he had been in security in the army. And so he saw an ad in the paper for securities, and he had thought that was security. And so he went to Wall Street and went for an interview thinking that it was security. And it turned out to be securities, stocks, bonds. And the guy liked him so much, he said, I'll train you how to do this. And that's what my dad did most of his career. He was a stockbroker, and just very cool, like experience. And so he's got all this stuff. And since, he's been on hospice for the last 9 months and, still fully there, mentally. And I thought, man, we really need to get some of these stories that he tells us all the time out, get them on video. My brother has a podcast. He had him on, and that was just a really fun. There's like, we don't want all of these stories to end. So
Yeah.
I just, I'm trying to pick his brain as much as I can.
Do you have a favorite Tony story that kind of stuck with you?
Ooh, there's so many. I think recently, sometimes there's stories we've heard our whole life. So like, we'll be like, oh, tell us about this, but I've heard it before. He told me a new one last time, and I think I posted it, but it was about when he was in the army and he was in boot camp, and there was someone who was kind of like picking on everybody, and it came to be his turn to get picked on, and the guy wanted somebody to shine his boots or something. And so he'd throw the boots on his bed every day. And so whatever time it was my dad's turn, my dad picked up the boots and threw them back on the guy's bed and said like, nope, not me, not today. And then he didn't leave it there. He then like found a baseball bat. And my dad is like the sweetest, like little
Yeah.
Italian guy you can get, right? He found a baseball bat and he just walked around the guy's bed for like an hour at a time. And then somebody else came and relieved him and took the bat and walked around the guy's bed for an hour at a time. And he said they did that throughout the whole night. And so by the next morning, the guy was like, everybody's picking on me, and why aren't they like, letting me do this? And I said, so, he taught me a lot about like, it's when you're a team and everybody works together, if something's not happening or if something's like not feeling right, like it's about you to stand up for everybody else. And, that was always something he instilled in us. Like if you see somebody being picked on or you see something happening, don't sit there and be quiet. Like it's your job to do something about it. And I thought that was a really cool story.
Wow. Tony Bats over there. They
Go
call him. I heard
Tony.
they call him Tony Bats back in the.
Exactly.
That's interesting here. People getting in the comments here. Let us know what you think here. Tony rocks socks. Poor Henry, karma baby. Oh, that's
Yeah,
great. Looking
he's
forward
got
to
lots of advice about life and, things that when I was younger, I didn't pay any attention to. And I thought he was just being annoying. And then after like a while, you realize like, oh, this was really like setting me up for some cool stuff from like a leadership perspective, from a family perspective. He really he taught me quite a bit.
Do you remember when that changed? Because I try to tell my
Yeah.
kids things and they blow me off all the time, and I'm like, no, like, come on, listen to me.
Yeah, you
Do you
got a
remember
while.
how old you got a while?
You got a
It's
while. I
hopeless
think
for a
maybe
while.
like mid-20s, maybe. And I, started to go, okay, like now I'm experiencing the stuff that he told me, and I'm like, oh, I get this now. So
Yeah.
you got a while.
Has it changed? Has your relationship with your father changed? Maybe the way that you kind of lead, or you kind of conduct yourself from a professional standpoint. Because I talk to my dad almost every day before work, on the way to work. It's just kind of my rhythm and stuff. And over the years, I mean, he's instilled a lot of wisdom in me, and as it's gotten later, it's kind of gone both ways, more and stuff and everything. But has he influenced the way that you lead, or the way that your outlook is?
I think so. I mean, I'll never forget. I was, sort of a young manager when I was, started in this business right straight out of college. And so, when I was managing people, I was maybe in my early 20s, and I was managing people that were, quite, more senior than me, who had
Sure.
had lots of experience, and they had a lot of really great things to share. And I feel like there's always so much that we can learn from people who've been there, kind of done that. And one of the things he always told me was that, and a lot of his stuff goes back to like Army days. And he said, when he was a sergeant, when he was a leader in the Army, that the enemy would always pick off whoever was standing around and pointing at things and telling people what to do. And those were the first people to get shot, because everybody, they knew that that was the person in charge. And he said, what you really need to do is, like, take your shirt off, get down into the trenches with people and see what they're experiencing and be a part of that. And I think that has like made such a difference to me in how you lead, instead of standing around and being the one sort of picked off of, knowing what you're doing and getting in the weeds with people is
I
important.
agree. I
Yeah.
tend to keep my shirt on, but I do try to
Yeah.
roll up my sleeves. And yeah, I think it's probably best these
Probably
days.
for the
But
best. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But no, I think you get a lot more respect that way. I remember I had a job. I was the vice president of sales. I was like 28 years old or something, right? And I was VP of sales, and I led a lot, but I didn't do much of anything. And they kept trying to get me to like go make calls and go do. And I was like, honestly, I don't really know this business that well. I'm more of a ideas guy. I'm more of a structure, process, whatever. And I ended up getting fired from the job because
Interesting.
I didn't ever really roll my sleeves up and learn the job, and I didn't really have the respect of the people around me, and and that
Good
and that made a
lesson.
big difference.
It's a good lesson. Thank you for sharing that, because sometimes people don't want to share when things go wrong. And I think we don't do enough of sharing when things go wrong, because you learn so much more when things go wrong than you do when things go right.
I agree. I think it's so funny too. And if you want to see that in practice, what you just said about learning more, also try telling a person a story of like your success, and like see how fast they like check out. You can watch them just get
Mm,
bored. Tell them a story of your failure, and they're like on the edge of their seat. They're like, and then what happened? And then what? Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, then what they said? What? Yeah, and you just see people lock in so much more, and because we learn so much more from our failures, but it's hard
mm.
to keep that perspective, Mary.
It is, and it's hard to share. I think people don't want to be vulnerable, and they don't want to open up and say, like, I failed at this, or this didn't work, and here's why. So I give you credit for doing it, and we should all do more of it, because you learn so much more from those things. Yeah.
Get in the comments. We're talking Tony. We're talking stories. We're talking failures and what we've learned from them. Tony Hill II says, great name.
Yeah.
Your dad's last name wasn't Hill. Tony's not named after your
No.
dad. Okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no. Good old Tony LaRocca. And there's a Tony LaRocca in housing. Shout out to Tony LaRocca. And we've got to be related, like somewhere down the line, but he's not my dad. I get that question a lot.
And where was your dad, Tony LaRocca, from?
From Brooklyn. So New York
Brooklyn.
City, Brooklyn, whole family, everything's. He was born in New York City. He'll tell you, it was the middle of the night and it was a storm, and the guy arrived on the
He's got a
doctor
great
arrived to the
memory.
house. He has a fabulous memory. The doctor arrived to the house, and it was the middle of the night, and it cost $5, and he was delivered at home. And like he's got his really cool stories about things, but you forget in 90 something years, like how much he's seen and how much has changed. And like, just to be delivered at home, and the guy came on horseback to, like, what we're doing today. It's
That's
totally, yeah,
wild. He
it's
came on
wild.
horseback and delivered
Yeah.
them for $5. Was that a
$5.
good price back then? I don't even know. Like,
I,
what's a baby go for back then?
I
I
don't
don't even
know,
know.
but if you wanted a doctor to come here and deliver something at the house, I'm sure it's $5 would be a nice
Yeah, I'd take $5.
discount.
We got
Yeah.
people in the comments here. Robin checking in. Carly checking in. Get in the
Oh,
comments, y'all. Check in with us. Shout out to Mary Corrales here. Kate checking in. Love watching you, Mary. You got a lot of friends. You got a lot of support out there,
thank
Mary.
you.
How do
That's
you
nice
how do
to
you
hear.
get the how do you get how do you get a career like this where so many people come out and support you, and they say so many sweet and nice things about you and everything? I mean, where does that come from, Mary?
It's the money that you give them afterwards, and you say, thanks for
The
doing that.
Venmo.
This the Venmo later, like I'll catch
Yeah.
you. I think, I was lucky enough. I started in this business straight out of college, and I had no idea like what I was doing. I worked for a real estate agent while I was in college getting my English degree. And so I use that on a daily basis. Someday I'm going to write my novel. That's when I leave mobility, is when my first novel comes out and does well. That's when I'll say goodbye. But I learned from so many cool people that took me under their wing and mentored me. Martha Bennett, I'll give her a shout out. Karen Stuber was another. Like, they really just taught me everything and said, I'm going to teach you things. And so now, as I'm, getting up there from like a career perspective and years of being in this, in 20 something years of being in this like industry, I really try to do the same. And I like encourage all of us to do the same, because it's just like with my dad, when he's gone, like I'm never going to get that story back, and I'm never going to know that information. So like everybody should have a mentor, and you should have somebody who's talking about you when you're not in the room, not just
Mm,
talking about you when you're in the room. And that to me is
I
like
love that.
key to mentorship. Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, yeah. Surround yourself with people that will talk well of you in a room full of opportunities or something, right? Yeah. So many good stuff here. Sandy Bayer, being so genuine is how she does it.
Uh,
Christina Mills, it's because she's an amazing person.
I'll
Yeah.
pay you later, Christina and
Seriously, throw your
Sandy.
Venmo in there just so we can keep
That's
it
it.
straight.
I
Gabe
never,
Brown, I never got my Venmo.
I owe Gabe for years. He's probably collecting interest on that.
So Christian brings up something that I maybe knew and forgotten, but behold, two English majors on a relocation show. Mary, what
Yeah.
is it about us illustrious English majors here that what is that, you think? I mean, do you find that you use it, because a lot of people will joke, oh, you're just an English lit major. What do
Yeah.
but do you find like you use your degree?
I think sales is all about storytelling and being able to like present an idea to somebody instead of, we can do this, but here's what it does for you, or here's an example of this. So for me, like sales comes like very naturally out of having like a storytelling ability to be able to like share experiences and things like that. And being able to communicate properly is never a bad thing. So I don't regret it. I think college for me was more about the experience of college
Yeah,
itself versus like conjugating a sentence or writing my
sure.
play or whatever. But I do think we use it. We don't think about it every day.
Well, and what
So
I learned when I was going through the English school, the illustrious English school of SUNY Albany,
yeah,
I learned that there's a lot of different types of writing too. There's expository writing, explaining things. There's persuasive writing. There's business writing. And when you think about it like that, it's just not just like fiction literature writing, which is fine too. But it's like there's a lot of different disciplines depending on what you're trying to do with it. And so, um, I think people
do you
kind
still
of miss
write,
that.
Ben? Do you write like weekly, monthly? Do you still do it? Yeah,
Yeah, I write on LinkedIn a lot.
yeah.
I write on LinkedIn.
But
I've wrote a boatload of emails.
okay,
But I'm not writing like a book or something. I want
yeah,
to though. You ever think
yeah.
about writing a book?
I do. I mean, I write a lot like in the like creatively, but I never have enough time. And so for me, it's about like getting the time in the day to, to do it and just figure out, like I like when I have something to write about. So I had a blog, like maybe it was like 10 years ago or something. I bought a new
Yeah.
my refrigerator went out, like
Mm-hmm.
completely died, and I got this really great deal at Home Depot, and I was really proud of myself, and like I paid for it all myself. I think it was probably like the first appliance I'd ever like bought. So maybe it was more than 10 years ago, but
Right.
anyway, I found out that the reason it was so cheap was because it was on back order for 30 days. And so I had to live without a refrigerator for 30 days. And so I made that into like a blog series, and I like to cook like a lot. And so I talked about like how I was cooking, and it was a lot about like what I could get that day and what was available, and not not getting a bunch of stuff that you weren't going to use because you had no way to like keep it. And so for me, if I had like a reason to write about something, or a like something in particular, then like I write better that way than just having like a sit down and you know write a book.
Yeah, I'd like to, yeah, you need those good prompts, right? Like I totally agree with that. It's hard to just kind of sit down and write. Christian's got a comment or question here though. Christian says, did your grandparents immigrate from Italy and had your dad in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
So What's the story there?
Yeah, so my mom's side of the family immigrated from Sicily. So my mom is first generation, and then my dad's my second generation. So his family was already here, also from Sicily. So I am 100% Sicilian. So when I get mad, like forget it. There's
Siciliana.
not a
Yeah,
lot.
watch
Like
out.
I'm usually pretty chill, and then if I get mad, like forget it. Like or if somebody does something like and you get the you're dead to me, like it's one of those things you can't come back from. So there's a lot of that. But you know, it was interesting to see from my grandmother's perspective. You know, they're passed now, but you know, when she came here, I don't think she wanted to stand out. So everything was about assimilating in Brooklyn, and you know, not standing out, not speaking Italian. So you know, other than swear words and like what food was, she didn't really speak Italian to us. It wasn't something that we learned because it was not about standing out. It was about assimilating, and I feel like we lost some of that connection. The food connection is there, but the rest of it, I feel like we've lost a little bit of that.
Yeah, I always joke that I was raised Italian by my first stepfather, Joe Ciaccio. He was from
Shout out to
Brooklyn.
Chacho. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's Sicilian from Brooklyn, and you learn the
Yeah.
alpangul and the this and the that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, totally get that. Let me ask you though, you know, since you're a New Yorker, Yankees or Mets?
Oh, Yankees all the way, 100%. Like Jersey is one of those things where you're usually either Mets, Jets, or you know, or you're
Yeah.
Yankees, Giants, and I am Yankees, Jets. And I think I
Ooh.
turned into a Jet fan like in middle school because somebody that I like, the boy that I liked, gave me like a Jets football, and I thought, oh, you know, I'll have something to argue with my dad about because he's a Giants fan. And so I don't know why I picked the Jets. Like I wish I hadn't, because now here I am, like, you know, 30 something years later, and like it's
No
not a
boy,
good
no
follow.
championship.
Not a
Yeah,
good
it's
follow. But the Yankees, on the other hand, I mean, we haven't done well lately in the last, you
it
know, 10 something years. But before that, it was
was a
and that
good
was
run.
really like the link for me and my dad. Like especially as you're growing up as a girl, and you know, you think your dad doesn't like have anything to say or know anything. We were always together watching Yankees games. Even if we didn't speak, we were in the same room watching a Yankees game from the time I was a little kid until still today when I go home. So that to me, like the Yankees are more about just being the Yankees. It's about that like family bond.
Did your
Yeah.
dad have a favorite player on
Yeah.
the
So
Yankees?
he loved Mariano Rivera. And my
Oh,
dad
number
doesn't ever
42.
pronounce anybody's names right. So he called him Mario. And so he was Mario like in our household, and everything was Mario this and Mario that. And he would make up names for different players because that's what he could like remember for things. But big Jeter household and a big Mariano household.
Rivera.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. This is great. Robin checking in. Those failures are great learning lessons. You're so right. Carly, love seeing you shine. Mary, fan of you both. Christian checking in. Carly, storytelling is a great way to connect. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Holly Holmes said I had the same experience with my first fancy fridge. So I bought a
A
garage
garage
fridge.
fridge. Oh yeah, the garage fridge is always the fridge that has all of the extra the overflow backstock we call it in my
The
house.
liquid
Yeah,
love, she
the
says.
liquid
The
love. Yes,
liquid love. That's
yes.
wild. And I gotta go Knicks. Are you a Knicks fan too?
So I am a Knicks supporter, but I actually grew up a Suns fan in New Jersey. So anybody who grew up in New Jersey and tells you that they were a Nets fan, they're lying.
Yeah,
Like the
no,
Nets
nobody's a
have
Nets
real
fan.
fans now in Brooklyn, but like when they were in New Jersey, like you would just go to see whoever they were playing. And so I think I like Dan Marley. I had like a Dan Marley poster in my room,
Thunder
and so
Dan.
I
Yeah.
was always a Suns fan, and then I just happened to go to school in Arizona and live here now, and so you know I've got a half season Suns tickets, and really like have always been a Suns fan, but I support the Knicks. You know, was very excited about this year, like all on board for it. I'd never like a Knick hater, but we hate things from Boston. No, if hi all our Boston people here, we don't really,
It's
yeah,
reciprocal though. It's
yeah,
mutual.
yeah,
Yeah. It's not one sided. I feel like hate
no,
hate is fine as long as it goes both ways. You know, when you
yeah,
just hate on, you know, when it's one sided, it's like, all right, you're picking on them, but
right.
it's mutual. It's mutual.
It's a good
Let me
rivalry.
let me ask you this though, because
Yeah,
I follow you. I follow you on, and honestly, your Instagram is hilarious. Honestly, it's
thank
one
you.
of my favorite. Honestly, your stories are one of my favorite. Okay, out there.
Thank
You
you.
just your sense of humor is just like
Thank you.
like. So I'm sorry if you get too many likes from me, but you know, you post a lot about your yoga too.
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I know maybe dead man's pose. I know that's it. I got nothing. How did you get into yoga?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've been doing yoga probably like, and they call it practicing, right? Because yoga is never something that you perfect. And I think that's something that really like sat with me because I'm always dealing with trying not to be a perfectionist because that always like trips me up, right? I have a hard time not trying to be perfect at absolutely everything. And so yoga for me is a good reminder of the fact that like you're never gonna be perfect in poses and you're never gonna get to the end of something. And it's really like makes you think about the journey for things. So I don't know, I started doing it like 16 years ago or so. I like hot yoga better if I can get to like a yoga studio, or in Arizona, you just go outside,
I was gonna
you
say
know,
that's just
in the
called
middle of summer
outside
and
yoga, right?
pretty
Yeah.
much like outside yoga. But during COVID, and then like I wish I hadn't stopped it. I did it during COVID, like a streak every day. And then I hit 200 days and I was like, yeah, I hit 200 days. Let me like take a break from doing this every day. And I wish I hadn't because I would have that extra time. So now I think I'm at like almost 1700 days, like straight of doing
Straight.
yoga straight. Yeah,
How do
every
you
day.
do
Yeah,
that? You're like the
yeah,
Cal Ripken of yoga. You're like
that's it.
the Iron Woman.
No, I mean, for me, it was about the mental piece of clearing your mind from saying, like, struggling with yourself. Is today the day that I do yoga, or I have to do it 3 times a week? So tomorrow I'm going to do it. And you're always like talking to yourself out of or into doing something because you have to hit this. When you do it every day, it like you just do it. So whether I'm on, I get off of a plane and it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm using like a towel from the apartment to do yoga on, whatever it is, like it is happening either in the morning, at night, in the middle of the day, whenever I have time. And I usually, it has to be at least like 15 minutes is my like limit of how small like a yoga session could be. But it could be different things every day. I love yoga with Adriene. I know I've shared her with a bunch of people that have asked. She's on YouTube. Very cool, like, very much like millennial. She's got really funny things that she does, but she has different things. So if you're having a headache one day, she's got like yoga for headaches and you just go do that. So for me, it's about having a practice every day and not having to negotiate with yourself and taking that like time to say, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You just do it. Yeah.
Do it every day. I love it.
You just do
Robin
it.
checking in. Yes, I went to SUNY. Go Danes. Melody checking in. Hey, Mary. Christian,
Yeah,
Ben, things can only go up from dead man's pose.
it's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
Christian has a great sense
Usually
of
the
humor.
people who need to do yoga the most are the most resistant to doing yoga.
That's me. You
Yeah,
got it.
you
You
need it.
nailed it. I
All
got to
right.
ask you though. Christina says Mary even does yoga during your downtime on business trips. What yoga advice would you give for me?
I would say like just start somewhere and start like small. Like everyone thinks like I can't go to yoga because I'm not flexible or I can't do this. Like yoga is about figuring out what you can and can't do. It's not about being fantastic from day one and to day, 100 and whatever it is. Doing it once a week is great. Doing it once a month is great. Like there's so many things that it does for your body. Like as you get older, from a circulation perspective, mental, for me, it's really like it's a reset for me. So like if I haven't done it, I'm shorter on things. I'm like, I see myself getting angry about stuff
Mm,
and I'll be like, oh, it's time. It's time
it's
for me to do
time.
yoga. Yeah.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
mentioned you'll do it even if you get off a plane at 1 in the morning and you grab a towel from the apartment or whatever. But I got a question. Like I was just in the city, I'm watching all these gals run around with their yoga mats. Do you need a mat? Do you need a towel? Like, can you do it without those things?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you could use a rug or something. You could just do it straight on the floor, but there's things that you would like slide off of for stuff. So having the padding of a mat is, really good if you're doing knee poses and stuff like that. You don't want to be like, you want
Right.
your socks off and you want to be able to like balance on something. But I remember like I had the greatest yoga teacher when I first started, and has since passed away. But the one thing that she said, and maybe why I stuck with it, was that she said, yoga and taking care of yourself is sort of like when you're on an airplane and the things drop down and you have to put the mask on. Like you put your mask on first so that you can breathe,
Right.
and then you help other people. And it's like that's such a mantra for life, that if you're always helping everybody else and you can't breathe, like you're going to be a crappy like mom, a crappy wife, a crappy friend, all of those things if you don't take care of yourself. And it was sort of like the permission to say like you're important take the minute to breathe, and then you can help everybody else.
That resonates with me. As a crappy mom and a crappy wife, if I did more yoga, I could probably be better at both of those
You could
things.
be a better wife. Like,
Yeah, I could be a better
that.
wife. I
Yeah.
just did some yoga. Christina's got advice for me. Start with puppy yoga. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need a puppy then too. They 1,700 people trying to convince me to get a dog. Christian says yoga's on ice is not recommended. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I mean, cold, I guess, I don't know, you could do a
Is
frozen yoga. Did you know that in
yeah.
the San Francisco airport, there is a yoga room in SFO?
No, I didn't know
There,
that. Is
there is a yoga room.
is there such thing as cold yoga?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I would assume so. You could do it anywhere. I mean,
Swedish
there's,
yoga.
yeah, Swedish yoga. I don't know. Let's create it if it doesn't exist. Yoga on ice.
That's great. I want to ask you this too, because you talk about yoga a lot, but you also haven't been shy about dyslexia. And that's something people don't talk about as much as yoga. So why is that important to you to share those things? And
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's one of those things when people talk about, being genuine and being authentic. I think for me, that's the whole picture. So you get the like funny part of me, you get the, right, the fact that I am dyslexic. And really I was diagnosed very young. And I think maybe back in the 80s, they didn't like have a word for it, but I've come to find out that I have dyscalculia too, which is numbers. And so it's the like, I have a really hard time with numbers. So if you put like a spreadsheet in front of me, it might take me a really long time to figure out how to do something versus like, if anyone's used the tool Mural or anything else that like helps you visualize things, like I'm a big fan of that. So there's this thing called like universal work experience. And the thought process is that like to lead, you shouldn't have to know if this person has dyslexia and this person has ADHD. There's things that you should just do in order to make the workplace better. And so a couple of those like tips, one is making sure that you have agendas on meetings, because not everyone can think off of the top of their head to like, say I have this, I have this, I have that. If you put an agenda on a meeting, not only does it like make people not freak out that like you're, something bad is going to happen, or like, why does this person put this on my calendar? But it helps you put your thought process together, and everyone doesn't just come and go, oh, this is my best thought. Like my best thought might have come like after me sitting and thinking about it for a while. So like use your time when you're in meetings to really like give all the info ahead of time and come to discuss something, rather than like spending that time rereading something or making somebody read their slides out loud. It just, for me, that would be tip number one for sure.
This is such a good idea. And honestly, like I've heard the other rationale about like preparing in advance, but I never thought about like the inclusiveness of it and how it helps people who think differently to be prepared and feel included and really get their best work, it sounds like.
100%. And I would say the same for interviewing. If you tell somebody, that to turn it on right now and what's your best advice for this, this, and this, like just because that person can't think of whatever that is in that moment does not mean that they're not going to be great at doing the job that you need them to do, right? So it just is, there's so many things around like, having people prepare things ahead of time or giving people time to think about something or saying, here's a list of questions that I might ask if you want to, prepare some stuff ahead of time. So we think that interviewing, I mean, frankly, if you're interviewing a salesperson, great. You want somebody who's good on their toes that can think of an answer and everything else. But like for plenty of other jobs, what good does it do to get somebody who comes up with the best thing ever in that particular moment? Like we really need to rethink that process.
As leaders, is there another tip that you might give us for how to be a more maybe inclusive workplace or to get maybe people's best work?
Yeah, I think, one is from an agenda perspective, as well as being sure that you're explaining to people like why things are happening or why you need something from someone. So as well as being supportive of other tools. So like, I've always been supported here. I have a Mural subscription, and for me, it helps me put my thoughts together. So maybe eventually I have to stick something onto a spreadsheet, but I have the support to be able to put something onto. And if anyone's not used Mural, like you can go, there's like a free free. They should be paying me for this, but there's like a
Yeah.
free thing that you can go to,
You have a
and you
promo
can
code, Mary
use it. Yes,
Corrales or
well,
something.
yes, we'll do the promo code, and it will help you if you're someone who visually thinks through things. It will help you visualize things versus like, I see a spreadsheet and I go, oh my God, like this is going to take me 8 times because I can't trust that when I'm retyping that I'm seeing exactly what it is that is there. So for me, it's numbers. Like I say, like every week, like no one pays me for my math skills. Like math is just not it's my defeated thing. I just, I'll move on and do something else. Yeah.
Yeah, Mel saying on interviews that is great idea. Carly thinks it's fantastic advice. Sandy's 100. There's a lot of support for goat yoga, by the way, in the comments here as well.
I haven't done it yet, but it is on my list. It is on my
Just
list.
need a
I've done
goat.
like a butterfly. We have a butterfly wonderland thing here in Scottsdale, and it's like a butterfly encampment kind of thing, and they do yoga, and you have to be very careful that you're not like putting your hand down like in
On a
poses, and
butterfly.
if they fall on you, if they land on you, you have to be really like cool. But I've not done it with I've not done it yet with I've seen goats. They have puppy yoga. We go to puppy yoga quite a bit, and so they'll bring in puppies that need to be adopted, and then you do yoga with the puppies. You should not bring your own mat to that because they pee everywhere, and so there's like people who just walk by to like clean up after the dogs while you're in the middle of yoga. But if anybody hasn't done that, like California has it, Arizona has it, puppy yoga.
Puppy yoga. This sounds like it might be an event for a regional, like an ARA event or SCRC or something like that.
Yeah, we've done yoga at ARA. We've done like a pre-meeting stuff for yoga. We've done some mindfulness stuff in Southern California as well. So shout out to SCRC, and they've really thought about the mindfulness process and some of the practices for things that we do. I just think this culture that we have of everything has to come right now and be right now. Like you need to give people a chance to think about something and put their thoughts together.
Well, part of it though feels like we've lost our patience in general, and I don't know if it's a social media thing or just the alerts on our phones always going off and just kind of training us to like jump. But I've noticed that we don't spend 15, 20, 30 minutes even on one task without jumping to another one. I mean, do you feel that too? I mean, do you think that we're losing something there with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. I think that we're always like, what do we need to do? But at the same time, there's like positives of not spending like an hour on something that maybe we only needed a 5-minute discussion on. So, those are other things as well where you can build some time into your calendar. Like I have like breathing on my calendar, and it's like a reminder that comes up as a reminder to like take a second and chill because I have no patience. Like, and it's that East Coast, like let me just get this done and go to whatever. Like I have reminders to breathe, and I also always, if I can, take lunch. Like I need to get away. Whether I'm eating or not, I need to like get away from the screen, and I need to like recalibrate myself a bit because if you just like are go all day, but I think maybe some of it's helpful that we're not spending like 3 hours like talking about the same thing over and over. But there's got to be a happy medium.
Yeah, I do agree. I think there's so many, back in my day, it was always like 1 hour meetings and half-hour meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see more 15 minutes, I mean, I'm even a fan. Throw me a 5 or a 7, I think we can knock this out.
I love that. If everybody could take away from here putting agendas on meetings and making meetings shorter and giving people what they need to talk about, like that's actually one of the things I really love about SilverDoor. We've gone through this merger. We're like about a year in from the merger between Synergy and SilverDoor. And at SilverDoor, everybody gets all the data ahead of time, like for really important meetings. And then when you get in the meeting, you just discuss what needs to be discussed. And it's so great to just not be in an hour-long meetings of people reading slides. Like you can read those slides in your own in your own time. So I am really a fan of like giving people info ahead of time and using the time that you have together to strategize to like use it to your best advantage. Like I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit about that merger and everything and just kind of, what that's been like and kind of give us a glimpse kind of into to the future, and what's on what's on your agenda. Speaking of agendas, we got some people checking in here. Chris Lagerman, anything with puppies? Yes. That's great. Yeah. Women of Global Mobility will have a mindfulness event during IAM in San Diego.
Yay. I
That's
love that.
interesting. Yeah, I want to hear more about that. I think I'm usually going to the IAM. Christian, I'm with Team Getaway as well. Keeps a relocation professional sane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
everybody needs a break, like, just going all the time. Somebody like equated this to like, in music, when you have a really great song that you like, the most powerful moments in that song are like when there's a break in it and you can appreciate the rest of the music that's gone on like about it. And it's the same in yoga for why you lie down and take a break in parts of things. It's not to, yes, it's to catch your breath and to do things, but it really makes what you've done around it like even better. So taking the time in a song, like think about really cool songs that have that like moment when
Yeah.
there's no music and there's no sound. Like why it's so powerful is because you took that time to take a break from hearing it, and then like you can appreciate the thing that comes next. So I'm always trying to remind myself that that's the reason I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the courage to take a beat. I think
Yeah.
it takes courage to take a beat. It takes courage to take a break at work. It takes courage to take a break in life. It takes courage to take a beat in a song, right? Where you're like, or it takes a courage to take a beat in a speech or a talk, right? When just to like say nothing for a second, because for some reason we just get really freaked out by that, don't we?
Yeah. We should have a moment of Love and Relo silence to appreciate the rest of it.
What's this going to do to our ratings? Let's see. I'm looking at Sharina, our producer, to see
Can we
because
go?
I want to see who freaks out first because somebody always freaks out, right? Yeah, that's great.
You
That's
can't
great.
tell two people from the East Coast to stop talking for
Yeah.
very long. Yeah.
Internal monologue kept going the whole time. No, just kidding. I tried to breathe a little bit. We did lose 5 people. That's fine. That's fine. That's
Okay.
okay. They'll
Whatever.
come back.
Yeah.
They'll come
Yeah.
back.
We got work to do. Yeah.
Okay. We did tease this real quick, but I do want to talk about SilverDoor, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on.
And it's been really exciting. So we're almost coming up on our 1 year of a merger. And Synergy was a wonderful place to work, and very appreciative. They brought me from the RMC side. I was on the RMC my whole life, before I came to housing. So it's been really fun to see like a little bit of the best of both worlds from an operator perspective of having our own apartments, as well as a supply chain perspective of being really able. It's really not financially smart to own apartments everywhere in the world, right? Because you can't keep that going. So you got to have a balance. So this for us has been like a really great balance, and I really like the culture at SilverDoor. Everything is really about like not only externally making sure that things are at like the highest level, but also internally the way that everyone's treated, and how things go. And I mean, it's a merger. There's always going to be time frames that things take, but like we're on the end of it now, and we're really starting to see like it's cool to have more opportunity. And as a salesperson, right, having a sales team, it's really fun to see like the wins and to start to see like the strength of having these two companies together. And housing is just, it's crazy. Everything that happens in the world like affects housing, and we don't think about it, right? Like we just had the World Cup. Like try to find an apartment in New York. I mean, hopefully you were able to find you were at the tail end, right? Or you were there right
I was
during
at the
it. Tell me,
tail
yeah,
end.
I want to hear about your New
I
York
was
trip
during the
too.
final.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was there during the final. I was fortunate to catch a little gap stay, with our friends from the industry. So that was awesome. But New York, oh gosh, New York this summer has been magical.
Yeah.
In New York, between the
Yeah.
Knicks in
The
5,
Knicks in
the
5,
World
yeah.
Cup, hosting, and then the
In
final
New
there.
Jersey, by the way, in New Jersey. Let's just give New Jersey its due. Yeah.
As a Cowboys fan, I'm a big
Yes.
fan of pointing out the
Yes.
Meadowlands is in New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
The Meadowlands is in New Jersey. Yeah.
But they all like to stay in the city. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's just
they
be
do.
honest. All right.
Yeah.
And then between that and then I went to 3 Jay-Z concerts last weekend. I went to
Amazing.
all 3 of them,
You
and they were
did.
all
Were you
different.
there that night that like nobody could get in until 2
Yes.
a.m. in the morning?
Where they
Tell me
locked
about that.
people out
That's what I heard.
for 4 hours, but
Tell
that
us
means
about
we were
that.
also locked in Yankee Stadium. It was in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
The first night was 30th anniversary of the Reasonable Doubt tour, our album. The second night, Saturday, was 25th anniversary of the Blueprint, and the third night, Sunday, was billed as Extra Innings. Well, nobody knew
Oh,
what Extra Innings was. It tended like just a potpourri, right? It's like, who knows, right? And we're all excited because the first two nights had a lot of guests appearances. Like Eminem came out on Saturday, Friday Nas came out, Alicia Keys came out, Beyonce came out. So that was the first two nights. Pharrell, Slick Rick. I mean, just all
crazy.
these epic acts,
Best New
whatever.
York lineup that you can get. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then
Yeah.
Sunday. So we knew Sunday he had some up his sleeve. So, but they're all like, "Hey, get there early, because people had gotten locked out on Saturday because they started the show a little early." And so we got there early-ish. I got inside at 7:45. Well, little did I know that was probably about 5 to 15 minutes before the incident happened.
Wow.
So what happened was people bum rush, we call it bum rush. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's politically correct or not, but people bum rushed the gate at
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium because they couldn't get in. And there's rumors that say that it was speculation that say it was because people were unticketed and they wanted
Oh.
to get in without a ticket.
Mhm.
I actually think it was probably due to the fact that security wasn't moving fast enough,
Mhm.
and either and or had a technical issue with their scanners or Ticketmaster or whatever, and people just said, "Hey, we're not getting locked out. Move out of the way. I've got a ticket. I don't care if you can read it or not. I'm going in." I have a feeling that's probably because I don't think people would wait on a 1 hour line with no ticket and then
No.
get to the front and be like, haha, I don't have a ticket, and then
No.
try to
Yeah.
get in like 30 deep. I think these people probably had a ticket and they just had organizational issues. So anyway, so these 30 people
Interesting.
bum rush the door. They get out, they knock this poor person out of the way. The cops have to show up. They plug the hole after like 40 people have gotten through. We don't know any of this. We just know that it's like, okay, it's 9
You're
o'clock. Well,
like,
they started
wait,
at nine
where's
eleven
this
the night before.
happening? Yeah.
Okay, it's 9:45. They started 9:42 the first night. Now it's 10. Now it's 10:30. Now it's 11. Like, this is bananas. What's going on? And a couple people are getting texts from the outside, and we hear that the doors are locked. But what we're not thinking about or talking about is the fact that if they're locking people out, they're also locking us in, because then that would
Yeah.
have, it was basically, if they don't start this thing soon, we're gonna have a riot inside. If they start it with
Interesting.
10,000 people outside, there's gonna be a riot outside. And it was just kind of like this: what do we do? What do we do? And then they stopped playing music, which was like also a critical error, because they had a DJ at first, and then they went to like elevator music, and then all these people that came to see Jay-Z are like, "Why are you playing elevator music for two
Yeah.
hours?" But I will tell you what, shout out to the vending people, the concessions people hung in there. And if it weren't for like all those surf sides, I think I would have had a serious issue. But they kept the surf sides coming, the
That's
waters
cool.
coming, and everybody kept their cool. And to be honest with you, I felt so much love there. I'm in the Bronx. It's not known as a super nice neighborhood, okay? But we were out there outside before, after, during, and it was all love, and I felt so safe. And shout out
Amazing.
also to the NYPD, because New York
Yeah.
Police Department, I've lived in New York, since growing up, and this is the best policing I've seen them do. They did such a great job of keeping everybody safe, but without like ruining the vibes.
Love it.
Everyone's like having an outside summer and just enjoying themselves and music and dancing and doing whatever. And they weren't there to like be the main character. They just kept everybody safe. And I just thought that was
Great.
super cool. So the
Oh,
whole
that's
thing was
great.
amazing. But what I
What an
didn't tell
experience.
you is the last night, Sunday night. I'm sorry, I'm making this about myself, but here it
No,
goes.
no, no, do it.
The last night, Sunday night, not only did Beyonce come out, not only did Pharrell come out again, not not only did Pharrell brought the clips out, Jermaine Dupri came out, Jermaine brought
Oh, forget it.
Jeezy out,
My God.
Usher pops out.
Okay.
Like, where does Usher come from? Like, Usher's never done a song with Jay-Z to my knowledge ever, but he comes out and does backup vocals to Ain't No Love in the Heart of the
Amazing.
City.
Oh,
And then Rihanna comes out.
oh, forget it.
And
Forget
Rihanna's
it.
like basically retired. And I don't know. She's got a couple kids. She's like, "Hey, I'm chilling. I'm Lower East Side. Don't bother me."
It's like a millennial dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
billionaire. I got a cosmetics line. I got
Yeah.
the Fenty. I got the things. She pops out and does two songs.
Wow.
It was,
Amazing.
and then Beyonce comes out at the very end. She does a little mini set. And then Joe and Jada come out. Fat Joe and Jadakiss come out and do New York, which was the theme song for the Nixon 5
The
run.
Nixon 5. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was just electric. So it went from 12:16 in the morning to 2:58. So we were there till past 3.
I
I
give
didn't
you
get to
credit
bed
for
till
hanging in
5.
there. I would have like
Yeah.
gotten like the claustrophobia, what's happening
Yeah.
right now. And like, but when you think about it, like, I mean, there's so many things right now, everything's so expensive. And like, what do you spend money on? For me,
Yeah.
like live theater and live music right now are like the two best experiences that you should be like throwing the money at and, you know, doing like a YOLO, like for stuff like
Yeah.
that. You can't get that experience anywhere else. Like I'm all about take the trip, like go see that show, go see like the musical guests, do it. That's what life's about.
100%. I agree. And honestly, I bought like 9 tickets to the concert on Friday, and I took like all my friends
How
from
cool.
college, and I hadn't seen a bunch of them in a long time, and we all went, and it was just
Sounds
one of those
magical.
like magical
Yeah.
moments, to your point.
Yeah. That's great. I
Wow.
mean, you know, growing up outside of New York City, you don't really like think, I didn't realize until I got outside of it that everything that happens in New York doesn't happen everywhere else. So like I thought everybody else had their own parade, like, you know, like the Macy's Day Parade. I was like, well, why are you
Or
watching
St.
ours?
Patty's
Like
Day parade, or the
any of
Puerto
that stuff.
Rican Day
Like
parade,
I
or
had
the
no idea that
Italian.
like those things didn't happen, you know, like that everybody watched the fireworks in New York. I'm like, don't people have their own fireworks? Like it was one of those things when I first got to Arizona that I was like, oh man, I had no idea. Like, you know, you don't know how lucky you are to be able to like go to the museums and do the things and, you know, take advantage of all of that stuff. So
Yeah, it's a really great point. It's a really great point. The best of many things are in New York. And it was so cool. I met so many. It was funny. I stayed there for 10 days, 11 days in a furnished apartment, and I became like part of the neighborhood. I was at 42nd and 9th, and literally I knew all the bartenders, I knew all the regulars. I'd be on the corner of a street right across, and this guy taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey Jeff, how you doing, man? You guys going to the bar later? Oh, I'll see you over there." Yeah, I literally
I love
became part
it.
of the neighborhood,
You're like a
and there's
Hell's Kitchen expert
Hell's
now. Yeah.
Kitchen, exactly. I
Yeah.
was at Rudy's, which is like,
Yeah.
from 1886.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Local 42. I was all around. I was outside heavy.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, everybody
fantastic.
needs those neighborhood, whether it's New York or it's San Diego or it's wherever you are in, you know, in Italy or London or whatever. Like, I think we need a lot more of that, like getting out and seeing people instead of just sitting in our house and watching TV. Yeah.
Yeah, so much so. I mean, in my house, I don't know about yours, but like even my driveway's in the back of my house, and we have these alleyway things, and we
Oh,
enter through the back. So like I don't even see my neighbor unless I'm checking the mail.
yeah. We
It's
used to hang out.
terrible.
We used to have driveway parties. I don't know if that's just the East Coast thing, but we used to have parties in the driveway. That was like
We
the
did that
thing
in
to do.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like fire pits and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is fun, Mary.
Thank you.
I love this. This is so much fun. Hey, you wanna play a game, Mary?
Always,
All right,
always
let's
up
do it.
for it.
Let's do it. We're gonna play overrated, underrated. All
Oh,
right.
love it. Okay.
You know how to play the game?
Yep.
All right, she's got it. She
I've
feels
watched this
confident.
enough. I've
She's
watched
got the
this enough. I
swag.
got it. Yeah.
She's got her Northeast swag. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, what are you talking about?
That's
Forget
it.
about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what you got here, Mary. First one up, country music, overrated or underrated?
Overrated. If anybody knows me, like country music is the biggest way to kill the vibe for me. Like I will jump out of the car. Like I will. It makes me want to like hurt someone. Country music is not my thing, like at all. And shout out to Quinn
This is
Harker.
so
Quinn used to
funny.
pick me up when I would come to San Francisco for work, and he would always have country music like blasting in the car when I would come
Just
in,
to
just
mess
to
with
like
you?
just to mess with me. But it is not. I honestly think it's because it's so catchy that like
Hmm.
it gets stuck in your head and then you can't get it out, and it's just I can't do it. Not my thing.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so funny. Growing up in New York, I always said it was overrated. People say, what kind of music you like? I say, I like all music except
Anything.
country and classical. That's what
Oh,
I always used to
I'm
say.
fine with classical.
And
Down with
I've
that. Yeah.
moved to Florida, Texas, North Carolina, and I got to be honest with you, I think it's underrated. I think it's underrated. It's a
Oh,
vibe. It is a
you're
vibe.
drinking the
Okay.
Kool-Aid, man.
I'm
You're
drinking
drinking the
all the
country
drinks. I'm drinking
Kool-Aid.
the Kool-Aid out of a mason jar on a
Yeah.
front
On
porch.
a front
Okay.
porch. That's
I'm
it.
doing all of it. All right. I'm
With
so
some
here for it.
moonshine in it. Yep, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yes.
That's the easiest way. I think it was ERC last year. I don't remember what party we were at, but like the last song they did was the Country Roads Take Me Home song or whatever.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm out. Like I was ready for some Journey or something, and it was not my thing.
Which has now
Yeah.
become the theme song for the
Well,
U.S.
now it's
men's
cool, but
national
this
team
was
for the World
before it was
Cup.
cool. Yeah, this was
Well,
before it was
maybe
cool.
maybe
Yeah,
just always it was always cool. We just
maybe
weren't
it was always
cool.
cool.
if
Maybe we
that's
were just not
possible.
open to
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, West
Yeah,
Virginia wasn't on my bingo card this year, but I've been
no.
singing it a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's we got Kate in there with the cowboy hat. The Knicks, overrated, underrated.
Underrated, man. I mean, you could never have enough Knicks. You could never have enough of that like vibe. I think I
Oh, the
felt so
vibe.
good about like the country in general, seeing how people were getting together and supporting each other, whether
Yes.
regardless of background or anything else. Like everybody united for like a fun time, whether it was the Knicks, whether it's whatever team it is, and the World Cup, same thing. Like have been here for all of the it feels like it feels good to know that we all can like love each other and not be as like divisive as it feels like we see in the news every day. Man, that was a great feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
we
Knicks
needed it.
definitely underrated.
Underrated.
Definitely. This was a movement, to your point, not only for a city, but for a city that seemed to kind of represent the entire US in a way, because you're right. If New York's a melting pot, and the Knicks just turned the heat up and everything just kind of came together like a nice queso for my Texans out there. But yeah, it was great. When I went there last week, Knicks in 5 is a chant. Like everybody you could just see like walking through the streets, like high-fiving, wearing the Knicks hats. I mean, you got older people, young people, people of all races, backgrounds, religions, anything. And everyone was just getting into the Knicks. Even people that weren't Knicks fans, like people just like, I'm not a sports fan, but you get wrapped up in the humanity of the whole thing.
Same for the World Cup. I mean, how much soccer does anybody, from
Yeah.
a normal process watch on a daily basis? Like it was so cool to like, even if you're, Norway, whatever, like,
Yeah.
you just jump from team to team and everybody's like in the middle of wherever doing it. Like it just, we needed some unifying and some big things. And that was a fun.
Yeah, and then we
needed
could
it.
all gang up and root against Argentina.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on. It's Leo.
Moving on.
Where's our friend Leo? Is Leo
love Leo.
Leo's
got to be the nicest guy from Argentina. I love Leo.
He's
the
does.
nicest
Shout
guy.
out to Leo. Yeah.
Shout out to Leo. Meditation, overrated, underrated.
Man, I think we've talked about this like quite a bit. You know how I feel, man. This is like underrated. You cannot have enough of mindfulness and taking your time and taking a breath.
I don't know. I just don't get it.
You're the one that needs it the most. The people who resist it are the ones that need it the most. And you got to be alone with your thoughts.
I don't like it. I don't want to be alone. I miss people. If I'm alone with my thoughts, I'm just schizophrenic. I'm just talking to myself. Okay. At that point. All right. No, I'm sure there's something to it. I just got to figure it out. That's all.
You got to figure it out. You got to figure out what works for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what works for you.
Christina says, love the World Cup. The Tartan Army was a vibe.
Yeah.
The Scots. Yeah. Every country was a vibe. I mean the Japanese were a vibe. I mean,
how do you run out of beer in Boston? Like of all places, man, like for them to have like run out of beer, like really says something about like how much like the Scots partied. I thought like I was very like awed by. Yeah.
I feel like they showed us up a little bit. I feel like I've been letting people down for a while. If the Scots just roll into town and just put us to shame,
raise the bar.
Mel saying Spurs next year. Maybe, Mel. They had a good draft too.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see, Mel. But not this year, Mel. Not this year. All right, let's keep it going here. Meditation. What's next here? Dasani.
Dasani water, overrated. I would rather like die like and not be able to have water than have Dasani. It is like there's very little that you've caught on the two things that like I like a lot of things in life, but the two things I cannot stand for is country and Dasani water. Like I will hand it back if like I'm on a flight and they go to pour the water and I see it's Dasani. I'm like changing my mind.
This is great. I just picture you at a Kenny Chesney concert dying
drinking Dasani.
Dasani, just hating life. I'd rather die than drink Dasani. You know what? I think it's underrated. I think Dasani's underrated. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's always available at the airport, and that's where I'm most thirsty. And dehydration happens on planes, and you got to be conscious of your hydration. Okay.
Yeah. In Arizona, man, it is all about drinking water. So if you're coming next week, like remember that like if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So that's like what we say in Arizona. Like you got to hydrate and be hydrated all the time. Dasani has so much salt or sodium or something in it that it just like, I can't do it.
What water should I be drinking instead of Dasani?
Do not drink tap water in Arizona. It is not okay. It is not New York. Like, do not drink tap water
Oh, really?
at all.
Good to
No,
know.
no. Don't do
Okay.
it. Don't
What
do
kind
it.
of, is there a bottled water of choice when I go to Arizona?
Does anything as long as it's not Dasani.
Anything besides
Anything
Dasani?
besides Dasani, but do not drink out of the faucet.
Okay. All right. We may have a water taste test.
Yeah. Oh, we should do that at ARA. We should
may
have a
get some good old fashioned Phoenix tap,
Yes.
some Dasani, and then guys, put in the comments what other 2 waters we should put into our tap water tasting.
You know, when I first moved to Arizona, when I went to Arizona State, yay, ASU, Forkham Devils. I filled up my tub with water, and it was like had like a greenish tint to it. And I would not wash my hair with like tap water for the first couple of weeks that I was here. I would go to like the grocery store and buy giant gallons, and I would like wash my hair with that because I was afraid that like something was going to happen. And it's just, you know, I got over it. Obviously, there's water softeners and things you can put when when you're not renting an apartment.
Your hair looks great.
But yeah, do not drink the water while you're here.
Okay.
We got plenty of great things, but water is not one of them. Beer,
unless
yes.
you're doing a taste test.
Unless you're doing a taste test for posterity, yeah.
All right, Sharina. All right, overrated, underrated. Last one. Personal fans.
Oh man, I think like having like, are we talking about the actual physical fans? Are we talking about like, I think both are fantastic and both are underrated.
Fantastic,
like,
she says. Both. Are you dropping puns on us over here?
Yeah.
Mary?
Oh yes, and didn't even mean it, but yeah.
I was in New York, and I was at the Jay-Z concert for 3 days, and every woman had a fan. Like a little electric one. Looked like you could charge it with a USB. And she's like doing this. And then occasionally they saw me melting and they would like hit me with it for 2 seconds, just enough.
You get the pity. You get
I get the pity one.
From
just like, you know, yeah, like she'd give me a quarter. I'm on the street and she's like, here, take 2 seconds and take it back. But yeah, I mean, these fans are everywhere. Are these fans all over Arizona as well?
Everywhere. And you know what's funny, like we were in Italy. We had a beautiful vacation, got to celebrate some love and some wedding out there. Shout out to Mark and Claire. Had a wonderful time. But everybody, like whether it's a fan, whether it's like the electric fan, whether you're doing it, like we felt so prepared because we were walking around with our fans and everybody else was sweaty, and we had our water bottles and our fans, and we like knew how to hydrate. But we were there during the, like, I think it's still hot there, but it was so hot, like, and humid and everything else. Like everybody, any woman in her early 40s also should have a fan. We all need it at this point.
Yeah, definitely underrated. Personal fans. I'm converted. I don't own a personal fan. It is my this is my resolution this week to get a personal fan. If anyone knows of a fan brand that I need to get, put me onto it. I'm a man looking for a fan brand out
better
here.
Get one before you come to Arizona.
Let me know. But yeah, maybe I need 2. Can I do like this? Yeah. Can I get it going like this?
Acceptable. Right. Totally. But get one before next week for sure. Yeah. Acceptable.
All right. I'm on it. Sounds good. This has been fun, Mary. I can't wait to see you in Arizona and see the whole ARA crew out there. It's going to be a good time.
We're excited to have you. Thank you so much. This has been really fun. I love seeing the personal side of everybody from like, we work with everybody and we see so much stuff, but really, it's about like the person as a whole and not just whatever they're bringing to you for this sale or this thing or this whatever. Like, I'm a big fan of learning more about people and, getting to know who they are as a person. I think is a big thing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Oh,
always fun.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure, Mary. Hey, and thanks everybody for getting in the comments too. Hit that like button, get in the comments, let Mary know what a wonderful job she did. And if you're in Arizona, I will see you next week. I'm told not to wear a suit. Can I wear a jacket? I can't even do a jacket. I got these nice.
Unless you have a cool Christmas jacket, I think, Mike Salia is doing a little like game, and I think Mike's probably going to have some sort of bedazzled Christmas thing that he's not going to disappoint. But you know what? You do you, Ben. If that's what you feel comfortable with, then you do you. Yeah.
Man. All right. I'm gonna have to give some thought to this. Mary Corrales, I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks everybody out there, and we will see y'all tomorrow. Same time tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all. Take care, everybody. Bye.